Welcome to Echoes of Enlightenment, where we talk about spirituality, life lessons, and overall self-development. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the beauty of being a chosen one. So in this episode, I want to talk to the chosen ones who's been awake and chosen ones who are going through the awakening, and give them a little pep talk and some inspiration and also some reminders, because I'm sure some other chosen ones that's been awake understand what I'm going to talk about the beauty. Because not the whole, in the last few episodes, I've been kind of talking about the hardships that we go through and, being the scapegoat growing up as a kid and being, just the challenging times, making it, trying to always feeling like it's an uphill battle as we try to, raise the vibration. But I also want to point out that there are some great things about being a chosen one to where I wouldn't change it for the world. Because we get some awesome experiences in life as well as some challenging ones. And I guess that's how it would be. Because, the scale always balances out. You might get a lot of challenging times at one time, but it's going to be even. You're going to wind up getting your fair share of the good too. So here's some of the good I want to, talk about. And I just made a short list. I talked about Kundalini energy and I went off on that. So that was a whole podcast. Probably, I think it's right before this one. But, so I have eight different, eight great things about being a chosen one. Is our spiritual gifts. We really do have spiritual gifts. And I'm sure some know how to use them. And some recognize that they have them, but don't know how to use them. But our intuition is on point. It is top notch. You can tell if somebody's lying just by how they're standing. You can hear the resonance in their voice when they speak. If they're nervous, if they're not being genuine, you're on the ball with this. Your body, you can read that body language expert. It's crazy, and that's just one right there. And then, psychic powers. We have psychic powers too. And what I've realized is more you awaken, higher your vibration rises, more work that you do on yourself by healing, all this stuff gets stronger. So strong to where now you can kind of, you're learning it because it's more prominent in your life. You'll be like, you'll just be driving. And you're like, cardinal, something. And then a cardinal will fly by or land on something right by you. You're like, that's weird. And then that'll happen a lot more. Or just just anything, anything. You start to realize, like, if you think of something random, if you're aware enough to recognize that random thought out of all the other thoughts that you had, just recognize the one that popped out that didn't make any sense to you. Remember that, and you're going to feel like, why should I remember that? It was just so random in the middle. But just try to remember it. And within like a certain amount of time, that thought will manifest. So it's almost like a prediction. But the hardest part is just recognizing the random thought out of the many that we have. We have over 60,000 thoughts a day. And like 55,000 of them are the same ones we had yesterday. That's why our life, it continues to be almost the exact same. And that's a whole different podcast. But what I'm saying is, once you start raising your vibration, start paying attention to subtle things, or if you just hear a random something, or a picture in your head, like of a friend, just something, oh damn, I ain't talked to this person in forever, and then you'll go back to, oh yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna go get this food, blah blah blah. The next thing you know, that person will pull up. You might see them driving. They might call you. The psychic abilities are super super cool. And I mean, there's more, but I'm trying to get past this. Through this list. Number two would be, you're talented. You can do a lot of stuff, different stuff, and good at all of them. And I'm going to use myself in this. It's like music, like all the music that you hear, whether it's good or you like it or not, but the music that you hear, like that I play in the beginning, then I play after, when the show's over, I make that myself. I don't go to a website. I have a keyboard and, the whole thing, computer to make music in another room. So I use my own music. So that, I can do that. Sports, pretty much, I can play sports. I'm not trying to brag or nothing. I'm just trying to, it's strange. After you step out and look at all this stuff, like a teacher, I'm becoming a teacher now. Being able to explain all this stuff. I was good at skateboarding, just all random stuff. Skateboarding, in the local newspaper for BMX, you have talents as a chosen one. You're installed with these. It's crazy. But the downfall to having many talents is that you like all of them a lot. So you nearly don't master any of them, but you're good at all of them. So that means you would have to quit doing something that you really like and that you're really good at. Put all those aside to use all that energy to focus just on one. And I would guarantee that you would be a master at that one. But you don't even really realize it because you're having too much fun. Think about, it's like you have a jet ski, you have a boat, you have a snowmobile. You have all these different things that are fun to do. And you don't want to and somebody goes, all right, well, give up all of those. And you can just pick one to do it. And you're like, well, I like all of them. They're all fun. You know what I mean? Or going to like Six Flags or something. You can only ride one roller coaster. And you're like, but I like all of them. So that's how it is. You're talented. And all right, so let me go on to number 3. Another awesome thing about being a chosen one, you're guarded and you're protected. I mean, when I say guarded and protected, you are guarded and protected. God watches over you. He's given you the best spiritual team, guardian angels to protect you because you have a job to do as a chosen one. And he needs you here to do it. And I mean, times that there's been a million times that you probably shouldn't still be here, but you were guarded and protected and you made it through. You're definitely guarded. And and if you just go rogue as a chosen one and start trying to just do whatever you want to do, you're going to get the consequences, and they're way worse than anything. They're bad if you go rogue as a chosen one. And the thing about it is, God will make you pay your consequences. Like, you do a simple thing, you're going to get your ass handed to you. A regular person do that same simple thing, it's not as bad or nothing will even happen. But God is like, yo, I picked you to do this certain task, or you're in training right now. You need to learn because you're not awakened yet. You're going to learn. So what happens is, if a chosen one goes rogue, when I mean rogue is just out of control and doing some stuff, you're still guarded and protected because he still picked you for whatever job, for whatever purpose that he needs you to do after you wake up. Like at this point that I'm at now, he still needs you to do that. But along the journey, like, he'll let you fall on your butt and get hurt real bad. And he's like, all right, well, just get well. You know what I mean? Just get well. And then now you still got a job to do. And just say somebody was like, I'm going to jump off trying to have fun and be dumb. I'm going to jump off the house and see if I can land on the ground without getting hurt. If you break your leg, he's like, all right, well, you get well. But after you get well, you still got training to do. Like, you won't die. It feels like you won't die, but he will. You're guarded and protected, but you will suffer consequences because at the end of the day, you have a mission to complete, and that's your purpose. That's either, on a podcast, YouTube, writing a book, just, anything to where you're raising the vibration. That's the end goal, is we need you here to do this. And if you're going to be stupid and being a knucklehead and getting hurt and doing all this stuff, okay, I'm not going to let you get too hurt to where you can't finish this task. That's what I'm trying to say. He's not going to let you get too hurt, but he'll let you get hurt right up. Sorry about that. Right up to the point to where you wouldn't be able to do the mission. So, yeah, and then if it's 6 months it takes for you to recover from whatever dumb thing you did, okay, we'll take that 6 months. Now get back on your mission. So, but the guarded and protected, if you're walking a straight line, you're always kept guarded. You got to try. You still got to try hard, but God's not going to let you fall on your butt, and he's going to protect you. I mean, some weird things have happened to where, like, somebody's ran into my car before, and I'm like, oh my God. I get out the car, not a scrape on it. Strange. But it's not strange once 100 of these things happen like this, then you're like, okay, well, it wasn't my fault. If I would have done something stupid, if I would have been driving crazy, out of control, doing something where I caused that, then it would have been damage to my car. But since I didn't cause it and I was actually trying to do the right thing, I was protected. That's how it works. Well, that's how I've pinpointed it. All right, let's keep going. Number 4, you get signs. Being a chosen one, you get signs. God has given you your spiritual team to show you signs on which way to go. And I did a whole episode on synchronicities. I think it was in season 1 of synchronicities. But after the synchronicities are usually to get your attention, to wake you up. Because he needs to wake you up, because now, hey, we're going into battle now. You need to, I'm putting you into position. I'm putting you into position. So you need to wake up. There's a narcissist on its way. So you need to be introduced to your spiritual team. You need to realize that they're there. You need to learn on how to call on. Just, you have a list to do. But the synchronicities are to wake you up, are to nudge you, to be like, look this way. I know it's crazy. I know things seem weird, but this is real. But the signs that you get, they're synchronicities, but I would consider them signs after you wake up and you realize, after you've surrendered to the synchronicities and realize that they're actually coming from somewhere and they are actually leading you on a path somewhere, they become signs. And after you've awakened and you've bought into, okay, God is with me, I have something to do, I definitely have guardian angels watching me, because you will get to that point to where you're almost able to interact. Well, you are able to interact with them. And yeah, I get into all that too. There's just so much to this stuff. So you'll get signs. When something's good, it's gonna happen. Then when something bad's gonna kind of happen, you will also learn how to reverse the bad or return it to where it came from. That's another part of the chosen. Like I said, this is, we got a hard, challenging time growing up, but all this is for the benefit of raising the vibration. We've been put here for a specific reason. So you do get privileges and stuff, but all these privileges are still part of the purpose. If you know what I mean, they're still part of the purpose. So it's not like you can just, I get this magic power. I get this power and I can go do what I want with it. No, you can't do what you want with it. I wouldn't even consider doing anything wrong with the power that God has gave me. I don't even want to imagine what the consequence would be, because I know better 100%. I know better. He's showed me. He's like, here, I'm going to give you this. Try some. I'm like, I'm not trying nothing. I know this is, I'm going down this path the right way. That's it. So you get signs on if somebody is a safe person. You can also ask. This is another benefit. I don't even have this on the list, but this also goes with the guarded and protected. If somebody weird is by you and you get a crazy vibe from them, just ask your spiritual team. Just be like, please guard and protect me. And the weirdest thing will happen. The person will straighten up and stop being weird, or they'll turn and walk off, and whatever they're doing, they will get out of your space. That's how you guard it and protect it. But you don't realize a lot of this stuff for a while. It takes a while. You have to be in tune with yourself to be able to access these. You have to be 100% in tune. You have to, that's why you go through your isolation. I have an isolation podcast and back in season 1. You have to purify your body and your mind and your spirit. You have to be as pure as you can to get these signs and also to be able to recognize what these signs are. It's crazy. It's like you gotta eliminate the interference. You see what I'm saying? You gotta eliminate the interference to even realize you're getting the signs. You have to kind of slightly keep your head on the swivel until you recognize. Because the thing is, you can't live only in the spiritual world the whole time. And you can't only live in the 3D physical world all the time. It's a balance. You wouldn't be put here in the physical world if you weren't supposed to be here. So you got to access both. It's a balance. And it's also a balance that's a continuous learning experience. I mean, I'm just telling you what I know and what I've experienced. I'm just trying to share what I've learned. And I'm glad other people share what they've learned, because it helps me navigate just like I'm trying to help you navigate. Okay, that's the signs. Number 5. And this kind of, I wrote, you're unbreakable. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier about the guarded and protected. Sometimes you think you're gonna, you won't break. And the craziest part is, out of all the stuff we go through, so we can learn, so we can experience all the crazy stuff, so we can help other people that might be going through these crazy things, or helping them after they've gone through these crazy things, because there's some crazy things that might be even more painful after the fact than while you were going through it. So God to keep us in it the whole time, to play out the whole event so we can gain knowledge. And sometimes when we feel like we're gonna break, he'll do one little thing, like you'll get a nudge to like turn on the TV or something. Turn on TV, and there'll be one sentence or one person says one thing that shifts your whole mind state to where you're back empowered. It's crazy. It's so crazy. He always will pick you up right when you're at the very end. It's like, have you ever seen that? It's like a video that was on YouTube of I think it was a lady at the end of some crazy marathon, and her body was just shutting down, just could barely make it to the finish line. That's how you feel. You get that feeling because you don't get to get out of these situations. You need to go through them to learn and to be able to see it all the way through so you can help. Like we're earth angels. Chosen ones are earth angels, and we have to go through some of this stuff so you don't get a chance to break. And that's good though. It's good, but it's still like, God, you pushed me all the way to the brink. And then he just picks you up and puts you back on your feet. Now, if you look at a chosen one, they don't look like what they should look like after what they've been through. They don't. For some reason, we almost look better. It's crazy. Because first of all, we've figured out how to use we were installed with that Kundalini energy that I talked about in a past podcast. And that automatically recovers anything that's damaged on the inside. And we've also learned how to heal ourselves. And that means acknowledging the pain and how to process that so it doesn't sit stagnant in our body. So that negative stuff we've been through, we work through that. It's almost like we know how to purge ourselves from all that. It's like if you eat something that's bad, like rotten or something, and your body rejects it because you can't keep spoiled food in your stomach. Because imagine what would happen if your body didn't throw it up. It would just do something super bad. You would have to go to the hospital and they would have to try to get it out. But the difference is with emotional pain or emotional trauma, that stuff we're able to still move around with that in us. But it affects us over the long run, but it's not an instant thing we need to purge like if it was spoiled food. But what us chosen ones have learned is we treat the spoiled or the emotional poison that we've experienced as spoiled food. So we conquer that right away. That's what gives us the constant. Well, this is once you've learned. You don't know any of this in the beginning. You have no idea. We go through all the same stuff. We just keep getting picked up. But over time, you start learning all this stuff. That's why I'm teaching you this now. So anytime you have some type of emotional trauma, like just a breakup or somebody did you bad or a narcissist, we know we need to address that problem as soon as possible. We want to be as light as possible because that's heavy. That stuff is heavy. Death in families, that's heavy. But if you know how to work through that stuff, you process those emotions. You let them run their course and you grieve them at that time. You don't know this in the beginning, but this is what you start doing. You start nipping things in the bud or whatever it is, right on the spot. Soon as you recognize that they're there, you attack those and you work on those. And I think I have a podcast called The Healing Process. I have an episode called The Healing Process. This was in the first season 2. So that's what I mean by you're unbreakable. He installs everything you need. And I think I'm going to do an episode on that next. That everything you need is inside of you. I forgot what I named it, but I'll be recording that one pretty soon. But you're unbreakable. So that's a cool thing too, because wow, I don't know how some of the things, well, I know now. I know now. God's been there. My spiritual teams have been there. I understand now. Here we go. 6. You just know things. What I mean is you just know things. It's the downloads. We get downloads. We get messages. Almost like what was I going to say? The psychic power kind of thing. This is different from the psychic power. The psychic power is you think of somebody or you think of something random and it shows up like 2 seconds later, right before it. That's kind of psychic. But the just know things is you'll get a whole message just out the blue, something you don't know. And something you don't know. It's either coming from the outside, like God, either way it goes, it's sent from God one way or another. It's either a download from the outside, or it's when you awaken, you begin to access some of the junk DNA that we don't think we use. We have it all in us already. So maybe some DNA wakes up and it's just ancient knowledge, because our spirit is in our body and our spirit has been alive forever, for eternity. It's just our body that transitions, but our spirit keeps going. And we don't know how long our spirit has, we've had, our spirit has been here. So the bottom line is, either way it goes, we're getting the message from God. I don't know how we get it, but we get, like, think about some of these episodes. You're like, how does this guy know? So shoot, God's telling me. Otherwise I wouldn't know. And it's not even about spiritual stuff. Somebody could tell me a problem that they're having with something. I wait 1.5 seconds. Bloop. God just drops in the answer to it, and I can access it, long as I'm as pure as I could possibly be, And I tell it authentically, just straight from what I hear. And so we just know some stuff. It's crazy, and it's like, we know. Here's 7. I'll be done pretty soon. I got one more after this. We absorb knowledge. We're walking encyclopedias. We know a lot about a lot of things. And I was thinking about this last night when I was trying to make this list. The reason why, all right, so let me just give you a little backstory. Like, I would be on my phone, listening to a podcast, on my iPad, reading something, and I would have the TV on, watching a documentary, all at the same time. At the same time. And my ex would be like, this was like, just, a while back, would be like, wow, you really need stimulation, huh? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? She's like, you have your phone blasting a podcast, you're reading something, and the TV is blasting. How can you hear all of this and read at the same time? I thought it was normal. I thought that was just kind of regular. And I've always realized I can never get enough information. I always want more and more and more and more and more and more and more information. Like, it's never enough. But what I've realized with that is, once I went through my isolation period, God gave me that gift to learn about a bunch of different stuff, a ton of different stuff, because this was my purpose, to be able to help people. And I need to be able to know enough about everything. Well, not everything, but, know a lot about things, because no telling what a person might come and ask me or talk to me about. I'll be able to give that advice. So all the knowledge that I was learning in the 3D, the physical world, matched with the information that he downloads to me to speak out. I needed to know a bunch of information about, I needed to have the vocabulary and the knowledge to explain what he's going to download into me. If that makes any sense. If that makes sense. I'm trying to it sounded a little weird to myself. Yeah. It's like I'm a translator, but of not of language, but of knowledge and information. Like I can give some advice on everything. And then he just drops into ancient wisdom or whatever the stuff that I didn't know, but then I can talk about all these other different situations because of all the knowledge that I've took in over the years and that I keep bringing in. And I think the isolation period is to slow down the intake of outer information. It slows down the learning process so you can now gain some of the inner wisdom of learning of what he's teaching me that's within me, of the awakening DNA, that the junk DNA that's awakening. I need to hear that, because how are you going to hear what's going on the inside if you bombarding stuff from the outside at the same time? So imagine that, something coming in from the inside and something coming in from the outside. So he slows down one or the other. And now with all that knowledge I know from the outside, he's like, let me give you stuff from the inside now. And now you still got all that stuff from the outside. You can just absorb. And I think it's all for the purpose. This whole thing is for the end result. And the end result seems to be something like what I'm doing. Because how the hell, do I know this stuff? Okay, so that's, we can absorb knowledge. And here's the last one. I'll make it pretty quick because I'm already 40 minutes in. We can stand alone. We have no problem being the lone wolf. And I think God made it that way because we never know which situation he's going to have to put us in. He doesn't want us attached just to well, we can be in groups, let me think about how to say this. Let me think. All right, here we go. I think I got it. When I say we can stand alone, think about all those other gifts I just told you, the beauty of being a chosen one. You know what I'm saying? Like the spiritual gifts, you're guarded and protected, you get signs. He's installed all that stuff into us to stand alone, if need be. He's installed everything that we need to fulfill our purpose within us. The only thing is we need the knowledge and we need the access to it. And that's where all the training comes from. So we're able to stand alone. And the craziest part is through the journey. So we can stand alone. We can stand alone. And here's another part that's kind of a sub little, point is think about, all right, so once a chosen one gets all his knowledge, this is before you even wake up. You're getting all, like I just was saying, you get knowledge from the inside, knowledge from the outside. You're realizing all these other gifts and stuff you have, because all this is not just for fun, to be a superhero, to go have fun. This is for a purpose, to raise the vibration and help keep everything leveled out. So that's why that's installed. But the most powerful thing is, and what people you'll realize over time through all this hardship and people not being very nice and leading you down the wrong road, is because nothing is more powerful than an awakened chosen one. I'm about to say that one more time. There's nothing more powerful than an awakened chosen one who's realized all this stuff, realized all these powers and talents and are learning to use them. Wow. Learning to use them. What it's like, you know how everybody's kind of worried about AI? They're like, don't put too much information in that AI, because what happens if it wakes up? Think about that. A chosen one is like an artificial intelligent robot. If you understand what I'm the comparison and what I'm trying to say. They don't want you to wake up as a chosen one. They want to keep you asleep because they realize once you have an awakening and you start realizing, because you don't even realize you have all those gifts the first half of your life. I'm in my 40s and I'm just now realized I knew things were strange, but you haven't put the puzzle together. You had all these pieces, but you didn't realize that it was a puzzle. You didn't realize it's a puzzle. And then now as you get older and you're mature and you slow down and you've spent time with yourself through the isolation period, you begin to connect the dots. Oh my goodness. You begin to connect the dots. I got an episode called Connecting the Dots, season 1. Check that out. You begin to connect the dots and realize, oh, I'm building something here. And then you start grabbing this talent. You start, oh, dang. You grab that and you're like, oh. Then you're like, I'm not here just to play around on earth. I got something I got to do. There's something I have to do here. And then that's when it all begins. But I'm going to end this episode right here. Until next time.